Hello, guys, and welcome to the SpursRelated YouTube channel and audio podcast. I hope you're doing well. And yeah, here we are on another YouTube live. We were back to back all week, and now we're bringing you more content. And what better way to start off by introducing co-host as always, Andre? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. The window's done. The craziness is over for now.
Do you know what? I was so in the zone in the week, like doing these lives, and I've forgotten to do the intro today. So it's probably why I caught you off guard there. Should we do the intro now? Just so we feel right. Just so we feel right. Yes, guys. Hello. Welcome on in. Yeah, just had an absolute shocker there and didn't do the intro. I thought I'd make a bit of a comedic effect there, but no. In all seriousness, Andre, how you doing?
No, I am doing much much more calmer now that this window's done. Especially the fact that every week there wasn't too much to report. It was just a bunch of we're looking at this person and we're looking at that player. We just became keen FC. We're just keen on some players, but not signing anybody. But we did get some over the line, and we got rid of a few, and one in particular is pretty upsetting. I cannot lie.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I felt like I was ready for the whole Dele thing, and then it suddenly dropped, and I was obviously well, I found my tears a bit my eyes watering a little bit watching that video, but no, it was a sad one because I mean the guy's been there 7 years. It was such a shame the way it ended. But he's an absolute what a Tottenham guy through and through. What a player, what talent. Almost could argue that it's been wasted a little bit at the end in the last 2 years. And some fans were obviously very happy to see him go. I thought it was the right time. I wouldn't say I'm happy to see him go, but it's the right time to move on, try to reignite his career at Everton, and I obviously wish him all the best.
Yeah, I really hope he does well. It would be quite the Tottenham way that he comes to Tottenham and scores against us in the next game.
Yeah, yeah, it's frightening, really, isn't it? The fact that he could, really silence us fans doubting him. But anyway, AN Army's in for what the 7th video in a row. Big yourself up, mate. He says we are moving into a new era, going to miss the players. Exactly, yeah, man. Like at the end of the day, I'm not going to miss Dele. The guy was just an absolute fraud. He gave us like 2 or 3 good games in the last like sort of 2 seasons. It wasn't good enough. Lo Celso, I don't really like at all. I just have never liked him even since he joined. The guy just, how he can be on that wage and then he's just shocking. But Dele Alli's the one I'm sad to see go. And obviously, you look at like the classic desk, if you like, Dele Alli, Eriksen, Son and Kane. We've now lost 2 out of them. It's only Son and Kane left. And when you think about it, Son's 29, Kane's 28. Obviously, we hope that they've got a bit more time left at Spurs, but maybe we won't be ready for that one either. But let's see. Kane, the long shot's in here again. Big yourself up, mate. Really appreciate you joining as always. He says, big up the boys. Sad to see Dele go. Not for as he is, but for how he was and what could have been. Thanks for the memories, but no room for sentimentality on the pitch. I hope he finds his form again. Yeah, like I said, I hope he does well at Everton. It's obviously a massive shame how it's all ended. But at the end of the day, even the fans that were saying sort of like, get out of the club, Dele, they obviously felt a bit of nostalgia going in on those videos that Spurs and himself posted. So, yeah, I guess it's time to move on, right, Andre?
Yeah, 100%. I think the only way to move forward is to sort of, move forward. You can't just stay there. And unfortunately, Dele Alli wasn't someone that was sort of moving forward with us. It time.
Yeah, exactly that. I'm surprised that Everton signed Dele Alli and Van der Beek. What are you thinking on that?
I think Lampard coming in Everton definitely had a project that they presented, and Lampard probably, you know, gave them some names, gave them a list,
Mm.
and they were like, "All right, if you sign, we will get them." And I guess they splashed the cash, you know.
Yeah, exactly that, exactly that. Um, And then obviously the other news that we'll get into in just a bit is Steve Hitchen, technical director of Spurs, resigning. Apparently, the before the transfer window, one of the main reasons for leaving was he wasn't happy with his involvement in the transfer window. Felt like it was all Paratici. Andre, a little bit more insight into that and the details.
Well, as you've seen before, that infamous quote of his, how he hates the transfer window. Um, it's quite, all respects to him, obviously, but it's kind
Mm.
of funny that a window ends and then he leaves, you know?
Yeah, and it's the January window that he apparently hates. It's quite a funny one, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, but I mean, Paratici, we brought him in for a reason, and it was sort of destined to happen because when Paratici came in, a lot of people questioned what Hitchen's role would be. And I'm
Mm.
sure he had questioned it himself. And now that he's been at two windows and seeing how things are going to go now,
Mm.
uh, you know, if that's his decision, that's fine. I'm pretty sure. I think is it Everton that's looking into him now?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's got another job lined up where he would be the sporting director or something like that. So I
Yeah,
mean,
Paratici's obviously cooking, and he's cooking his staff down with him. So big up Paratici on that front. People say we had a great window, and funnily enough, Hitchin wasn't part of it. So even if it's an improvement on other windows, clearly it was the right way to do it. And if Hitchin wasn't involved, go and speak your dummy out somewhere else, mate. Cheers for the 5 years of producing absolutely shit windows, and we move forward. Boss Fan TV's in here says, "Hey Spurs fans, how are things today?" We're good, mate. I'm feeling mixed emotions. Like I think it's quite funny that Hitchin's left, to be honest with you. But obviously Dele Alli, especially yesterday when the announcement videos came, and the day before, and all the nostalgic videos he then posted yesterday. It was a bit of a, I can't lie, I was a little bit almost, I didn't feel ready for it, but do you know what, like, it's time to move on, and I really do hope Dele Alli does well for Everton. Kane says spring cleaning top to bottom as well. Yeah,
yeah,
brilliant. And director of football, head of scout for Everton. Shouldn't be directing traffic, much less a football club, but so long. Thanks for all the fish. Yeah, cheers for signing Lo Celso. Cheers for directing us towards Ndombele. Cracking signings, Hitchin. Fantastic stuff. Thanks so much. And like, he even tried to claw onto his job by like pretending he was Paratici on the sideline, like celebrating goals with him and like shouting at the players. Like, go away. You weren't doing that before. It's absolutely pathetic. And, go and enjoy another club where you're probably signing another few fraud players.
yeah. Well, I feel bad for Everton, but maybe he'll change the way he approaches things. Maybe he'll learn from this experience, the fact that Tottenham just kind of got tired of what was happening and decided they needed someone who could finish these signings, not just sort of look at them, you know?
But
So
the thing is, like, why would you come out in an Amazon documentary? Your time to shine, your time to like, make a stamp of how enthusiastic you're going to be about the transfer window, and how much you love your job and how lucky you are to have your job. And he comes out with the most boring interview that made you want to just turn it off. And the fact he said, "Oh yeah, January, I hate it," and all that. Well, that's kind of karma, really. The fact that he's resigned because he's spat his dammy out and all of this. Like, the guy's an absolute idiot. I'm actually kind of happy he's gone. And clearly it was for the best because our window was better than normal windows, hopefully. And I guess time will tell, like we said all week. But the fact that he's walked and he's not happy he wasn't involved, like, is that the main reason because he wasn't involved?
definitely, that interview I think really screwed him over. I think the picture he painted for himself did not sort of merit any like the fact that literally a season after we brought in Paratici right after
Mm,
that interview didn't spark to me any confidence at all. I was not confident in the signings once I saw what he had to say. That's not what you should say. You
mm,
Even if you don't like it, you shouldn't go around telling everyone publicly, you, the person who's in charge of transfers, that you hate
mm.
it.
Yeah, exactly that. A and says, "Judging the day we have to say goodbye to Son, man." Like, The fact I was on the verge of tears and Dele Alli, I'm not looking forward to that day either, man. I don't know about you, Andre.
Yeah, no. Oh, Dele's face when Hitchen walks in. Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah, he thinks he's avoided this absolute idiot in the boardroom, and that's a that's a great point. Great point, to be fair. I never understood about the Lo Celso deal. Overpaid so much for an average footballer. Yeah, the thing is, like, a lot of players look good in Spain, and they come over to the Premier League and they're absolutely rubbish. So yeah, exactly. I just never understood that one. But
Here's a question though. Which one of those players do you think will be staying? Lascelles or Ndombele? Do you think they'll both stay at their clubs, or are they going to come back?
well, obviously the buy to loan to buy for Ndombele is ridiculously high, but I think we might be able to negotiate one that's maybe like sort of 30-40 million pounds if he does well at Lyon. And I think Lo Celso will move on. I think Villarreal will probably did end up doing well at Villarreal because he's used that Spanish league. He did well at Real Betis. But he's just poor in the Premier League. He doesn't get time on the ball because it's such a faster league, and he gets found out. He really does get found out. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Emery was really keen on him too. So I mean, that's fine.
yeah. Yeah, take him off us soon, Emery. Absolutely good evening to you, and thank you very much. Opinions on Brian Hill's words about returning to Spain. Apparently, he's not happy at Spurs, and his family was pushing for him to go back to Spain. My opinion on Brian Hill, transfer-wise, is obviously I'm a bit unsure about why he's gone back to Spain. Like, yes, he needs game time, but is he going to get more game time than Spurs? Probably. But is he going to get game time in a league that he needs to adapt to? No. So it's a weird one. But in answer to your question, I think we just have to take it with a pinch of salt. He's not going to be too happy about being in the Premier League. He probably expected to start a lot of games, and he's found himself on the bench under two managers. It's part of it. He's still very, very young. Maybe he'll go to Valencia, gain a bit of experience, gain a bit more, confidence, come back and hit the ground running. But I don't know. It's a weird one. My honest opinion is I could see him doing really well at Valencia. Maybe starting to put a few goal contributions together, and potentially will stay out there. But let's see. Time will tell, I guess. What do you think, Andre?
I think the same, and I also think that sort of the idea that you come to a Premier League club and you think you're going to start just like that, no, that's not how it works. I think that's a maturity thing. I hope he realizes that it's on him to get in, to break into that starting 11. When he gets the chance, he needs to perform well. I'm not saying he performed terribly, but it wasn't like he came in and was impacting the game or anything either. So, hopefully he gets a nice good run, bulks up a bit, realizes, sort of put some goals and sees what it is that he needs to have to be in the Premier League, and then come back, hit the ground running. And at the end of the day, his family could push for whatever it is, but it's his career, right? So if he wants the Premier League and he wants to succeed there, then he needs to see what it is that was missing that made it so that Tottenham was like, no, you should go on loan. Even if we're not going to have that many players, you should go on loan.
Yeah, great point.
Yep.
A few more comments. He says, Yanami says, Lo Celso just seems to use Spurs as a training ground for Argentina. Yeah, I mean, played for Argentina, started for them last night. I don't know how well he played, but I saw he was in the starting 11. I'm thinking the guy should be nowhere near our starting 11, ever. The fact he's starting for his team with, decent players in the Argentina squad, it's interesting, really. But I just don't get why he's such a different player. I think it's to do with the speed of the game, I think. I mean, like we said, he was good for Real Betis and came to England and literally put in, I can't even remember the really, really great performance he came in with. Like, it's so hard to even think because it feels like he's been here, 2-3 years?
Yeah,
And he's provided nothing.
Yeah, the speed and system of a game and the league and the team you're playing, all of that plays into account. Look at how Coutinho is. He came back to the Premier League and he's hitting the ground running again.
Already, yeah.
The Brazil game he played yesterday, he scored a screamer and he was playing very prime Coutinho's back. And it's all because of, I guess he's just rejuvenated again, being back in the Premier League. And you would think, La Liga, it's a little easier maybe. But sometimes you're just built for a specific league, for a specific style of play. And when you go somewhere else, it just throws you off. So,
Yeah, spot on. Boss Fan TV says, in my opinion, it would have had to be a better loan Brian out to a lower tier Prem squad or even Championship team to get used to English football. He needs to add some muscle as well. It looks like to me, yeah, a little bit like a Wink. Sorry, not a Wink situation, a Skip situation where he went out to Norwich, sort of bulked himself up, got one of the Championship Players of the Year or even Championship Player of the Year. And really helped Norwich, and Norwich fans were raving about him, was spraying passes left, right, and centre, really commanding that midfield for Norwich, and in their title winning season in the Championship. So yeah, and comes back into Spurs and starts pretty much every game bar a few. So yeah, I think you're spot on. I really want to see Brian Hill go out to a higher tier, either a lower league Premier League, lower team Premier League. I can't even talk. Lower team Premier League team or a higher caliber of Championship team. But I guess if a club doesn't come in for him, then there's not a lot that can be done about that. We can't just like send players there and say, look, you're having him. But I do agree with what you're saying. Lo Celso and Hill both way short in the Prem. Yeah, exactly that. SF, when welcome on in SF, you've been consistently recently, so big yourself up. Kane, a long shot again. We all agree Hill should have been loaned to an English team, but we don't know what club's coming for. Exactly, that's literally what I just said. Some game time is better than none. If you didn't have other suitors, yeah, we should have gone in for Maddison. Wow, what's your opinion on that, Andre?
That would have been expensive. I don't know if Levy would have been up to that. And would Leicester even let them?
Yeah, mid-season.
Mid-season? I don't think so. Maybe in the summer. That could be good. But speaking of the summer, let's move on.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. So keep your opinions coming in, guys, and we'd love to discuss them with you. Kane again says Maddison won't come to Spurs. Has beef with us because apparently we messed up a transfer for him. Yeah, it's an interesting one, to be honest. I can't see Maddison coming this way anyway. Can you?
No, I don't think so. That'd be very. It would be very harsh of Leicester to do that. I think to themselves, they'd be shooting themselves in the foot. Honestly, sending him here, one of the best players in their team. Yeah, that wouldn't happen. I don't think so.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. We'll answer a couple more questions in terms of I'm going to bring up a couple more talking points to the Dele Alli transfer out, and then we're going to move on to the summer window and the potential ins and outs there. Andre, for Dele Alli, do you think he will do well at Everton, or do you think he'll still have that attitude problem? Because for me, I think think about it, he's had the same scenery 7 years running. He's had the same training ground. He's had the same people around him. Obviously players have come and go, but like he still had quite a lot of that core in that team. Every day with Son, every day with Dyer, every day with Kane. Sometimes, even if you're in a normal job, you get sick of the whole same thing every day. Do you think he just needed a change of scenery and maybe his attitude will change straight away?
I think if patterns show anything, it's that he's going to hit the ground running, and then after a few games, it's going to go back to the same. So I hope he does well. I hope he succeeds, and I hope that maybe he does so well, has a great career, and then maybe one day he comes back. But the patterns show that he hits the ground running when there's something new that happens, and then he goes back to the Dele Alli that we've been seeing for a few years now. That we even saw in the documentary, right? Mourinho thinks he's a lazy trainer. He doesn't put that extra effort to get out there. And then that lecture he gave him about the fact that some players they go up and then they just stay.
Yeah. When he was like MK Dons Tottenham national team, bang, like that. Yeah.
And he's like, you want to keep going up, but you're just kind of here. And that's kind of what's
about the moments. About some players have moments, and then there's like consistency, and the consistency is what makes a top player. Is what Jose Mourinho's words were. Wayne's in here. Welcome on in, Wayne. Hope you're doing well, mate. And he says Paratici needs to be working on pre-contracts to bring them in the summer. No transfer fees should be easier. Yeah, I don't get this. Why are we not going for pre-contracts? Kessié is available in the summer. Probably a club's done it on the quiet and sort of got him in. I heard talks about is it Juventus or something like that for Kessié, but why can't we go for?
Very animated, yeah.
why can't we go for these players that are available? Like, they would just bolster our attack and bolster our defence and bolster our midfield, and they'd be on a free. Like, yeah, I mean, there's obviously something going on behind the scenes with Hitchen walking. Maybe they did try certain things. Maybe we'll hear more about that very soon. Real Madrid are considering triggering the buyback clause in the Reguilon contract, apparently. I don't get that one. Why would they go back for Reguilon? I'm trying to think. They have left back at the moment. They have, well, David Alaba's more of a centre-back now, isn't he? And they've got Ferland Mendy, isn't it? So, don't get that one.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is Reguilon's decision, though, right? Like,
Hmm.
if Real Madrid trigger it and Reguilon wants to stay, then that's on him, right?
Yeah, but like, I just think with him and his girlfriend, they go to Spain quite a lot anyway. Do they prefer it there? I don't know. They seem quite happy in London, but I don't know. Let's see. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
about the football on the pitch as
I'm
well.
sure. I'm sure the project will also seem interesting for him because I'm pretty sure Mbappe is linked to go there in the summer, right?
Yeah. Mbappe to Real Madrid is looking very, very likely. Kane the Longshot just informed me it's Barcelona. That was right. Yeah, I just don't understand how Barcelona are doing absolute bits with like hardly any money. It just makes no sense. Dele can't keep that same attitude. He's not the big fish anymore, and Everton fans will not have that. You're spot on. Everton fans are not lenient on this kind of thing. I've been to Liverpool. They do not suffer fools. Exactly. They'll get behind him to start with. But like, I don't think he'll get away with being an absolute like a lazy Dele Alli on the bench or lazy Dele Alli coming onto the pitch. Duncan Ferguson, he's not going to take any strays. You're right. You're spot on. Ali should have gone 2 or 3 years ago. He needs new surroundings to inject some life back into him. Exactly this about the whole change of scenery. I think Lampard will get him back on track again. I really hope so, man. Like, he's never. The thing is, he can't get back on track here. It's been how many managers now? Pochettino, Jose, Nuno, and Conte all can get the best out of him. I mean, obviously at the end of the Pochettino era, Pochettino wasn't getting anything out of any of the players. Jose got a bit out of him, didn't he? He scored a couple of goals against Bournemouth in the league, and I think he ended up getting like 6 goals in something like 8 games, and then he just plummeted again and went bad. And then Nuno didn't even really give him a look in. Conte tried, and he wasn't good, was he? So
Yeah.
it's a massive shame, but I think there's several goals in my head that will always stay in my memories for Spurs, and that's part of it. That's part of having those favourite players. He was one of my favourite players between sort of 2015 and 2018. All the fans loved him. He was a fan favourite. But I think, yeah, like you said, I think going to Everton is make or break. Really, he's 25 years old now. If he starts messing about there, he's going to be just a bench warmer at any club. Bit like a Jesse Lingard. The Jesse Lingard move. Where he went to West Ham. Before that, people were like, Jesse Lingard, he's terrible. Smashed it at West Ham, and now suddenly he's linked with those clubs. This might happen with Dele Alli. We don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And I feel bad for Lingard, though, because Manchester United blocked a move for him at the end.
Yeah, they did. Well, the thing is, it was either Tottenham or West Ham that I think were linked. And why would Man United sell him to a rival, especially with what's happened with Greenwood? They're lacking attackers now, and why would they send him to a rival, a top 4 rival? It could go horrendously wrong for them if they loaned him to us and then we beat him to top 4 because of him. You imagine the uproar on that. A lot of players would rather wait for summer and get the lay of the land before committing to a club. They want Champions League football committed. Yeah. So exactly. So if he signed a pre-contract at Spurs, it's definitely not guaranteed we get sort of a top 4 finish. Ali rose up the ladder. Oh, sorry, Ali Rose up the ladder. I thought you meant Danny Rose. Up the ladder too quickly, too much, too soon. Realistically, where can he go after that national team and international tournaments? Yeah, he's not exactly going to probably win a trophy at Everton, is he? But yeah, you're spot on. A couple more questions about Dele Alli or comments. Crazy to think Ali was worth 80 mil back in the day. Yeah, nearly 100 mil. Now 10 million excluding the add-ons. Just crazy. Absolutely crazy, Shen. Peterson here from it says, you think we get top 4 with those reinforcements? Do you know what? I'm feeling quite positive. I want to see obviously how they do to start with. I think we will then get more of a gist. Kulusevski could be incredible. Bentancur could be incredible. By the way, Bentancur scored in the first minute for Uruguay last night. Unbelievable. Good shot as well.
It was like a Wanyama goal.
Yeah, it's like a half volley, wasn't it? Brilliant goal. Yeah. Bottom left-hand corner. But yeah, to summarise that point, wish Dele all the best. Thank you so much, Dele, for the memories. But, it was time to move on. And I'm sure Andre completely agrees. Right.
100%.
Andre, what is our next topic?
All right, so we got to look towards the summer now. We got a couple players who were linked to leave, maybe on loan or being sold, that
Right.
didn't this window. We have Rodin, Tanganga. They were being linked to loans. That obviously didn't happen, especially with the fact that our squad's kind of depleted. They sort of prioritized the midfield area to get move them on, which is fine because I think the wages that those midfielders were on is a lot higher than the wages that Tanganga and Rodin are on.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I've heard that Brighton are keeping an eye on Rodin,
Mm.
which kind of works in favor for us because we are also keeping an eye on Lamptey.
Yeah, so Lamptey, yeah. Talk us through, like, will we link that window, do you think, or do you think it's one for the summer?
I 100% think it's something for the summer. They've been looking at that guy for a while. I've heard Fabrizio talk about him as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're very keen on him. Obviously, he's rose up the ranks recently in these past few years. Guy's 21. The thing is, I think there's other clubs also eyeing him. There's Manchester United, from what I heard, is also sort of keeping an eye on him. Not surprised if though others are going to pop up eventually.
Oh,
In
of
which
course.
case, I really hope we don't undervalue him, and then some bigger club comes in. But
Mm.
we'll see. That's definitely a summer move. He plays right back, sometimes right mid, so it seems like his natural position is a right wing back, which is perfect for us. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. His contract doesn't expire till 2025, so that it's gonna
Wow.
be
So it's
gonna
going to
be
be
a
a
hard one. Yeah,
I'm
from what
hearing a 50 million price tag Brian to put on
yeah,
him.
50 million. That is exactly what I've heard as well. And I
Mm.
wouldn't be surprised if Rodin maybe gets thrown into the mix there to lower it, maybe have
Great point.
some add-ons that get
Mm.
paid later in increments. And also the fact that at the moment, unless Doherty puts in the performance of the season, I could see him also leaving in the summer.
Yeah, yeah. Also, obviously, Lamptey used to be a Chelsea player. Maybe not so many people know that. Do you feel like Chelsea will maybe go back in for him, or maybe as a buyback clause, or do you think his time's up at Chelsea, a bit like a Kevin De Bruyne, Mo Salah, where they sort of move on?
I wouldn't be surprised if they move on just because of who they have right now, which is Reece
Hmm.
James.
Yeah,
I don't think Lamptey would want to be behind him, you know?
yeah, and also they got that other guy, haven't they? I can't remember his name, but he's doing quite well as well. He's broken through recently.
Right, right. No, I can't remember too much. I just look at I only really
Yeah,
pay
we don't really. We're Spurs related. We're not Chelsea related. Yeah, no, you got to let us off. We don't know all the players for Chelsea, but yeah, I think Man United will probably go for Lamptey. Man City, I've heard a link with Lamptey, and obviously Tottenham. So I think that Champions League pool could be an influence. But let's see what Brighton want, and if our owners are gonna cough up that money.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that Tottenham back Conte. So if
Ah,
that's
yeah.
the way I see it, there's a huge list. Paratici's known to have a huge list, but
Mm,
I'm pretty sure this Lamptey guy he's been on that list. He's been pretty much like on the forefront for that right wing back position. So
mm.
if we get him in the summer, if we make top four and we get him in the summer, I'm sure everyone's gonna forget the fact that we didn't get Traore. Everyone's gonna be like, "That's
Yeah.
fine."
Yeah, exactly, and everyone will be like, "Okay, that was the right decision." Bass Fan TV says, "Yeah, we're not rich. Close to sign a sponsorship deal with Spotify worth
Oh my god!
400 mil. We cleared over 159 million wages since Laporta became president. Crazy
Wow.
stats." Sean says, "Big up 500 subs soon, 1K. Big yourself up, mate. Thanks for the support. Really appreciate." The 535 people that are currently with us. But we do want to make that 1,000. We're really pushing that towards that 1,000 mark, guys. And obviously, your support means the world to us. And you know, when we do hit that 1K, because I'm going to say when we do hit that 1K, obviously we remember you guys as being the first sort of regular viewers. So stick around for the journey. Buckle up, and we're really excited, aren't we, Andre?
Oh, 100%, 100%. We're growing and we have our goals, hoping to meet them.
Absolutely. Rodon and Cash for Lamptey, that would be a good one. Exactly that. Bit
Yeah.
like what Andre was sort of suggesting, Rodon being thrown in deal. I can see it happening. I really can.
Yeah.
BuzzFan TV says, smash them likes, big yourself up, mate. Yeah, definitely, guys. I think there's 20 of you watching now. So everyone, every single one of you that hasn't hit that like button, smash that like button for us, guys. And you know, we want to bring as much content as possible this week to you and in the coming weeks and days. Right, who's the next sort of transfer target for Spurs, Andre? Who do you think we're also going to be linked with in the summer?
So since Roden could be heading out, that leaves another center back option that we need to fill. And one of the players that we've been sort of looking at since last summer is Pau Torres.
Pau Torres, yep.
He won Europa League with Villarreal, as everyone remembers.
Yep,
Manchester
brilliant.
United bottled that one.
right on the penalty shootout with the keepers. That was brilliant.
Yep. Pretty sure at last summer we actually did go in for him, 50 million or so. That was before the Romero thing became sort of the center back we went for. And like I said, right, Paratici has a list, and they first went for Pau Torres before deciding to go for Romero.
Yeah.
But he said no. No, because, well, Villarreal is his hometown, and they were going to play Champions League, and we weren't offering that, obviously.
Yeah, good points.
He hasn't ruled out a move away. He hasn't said Tottenham specifically, but I wouldn't be surprised, depending on where Villarreal ends during this season. We could convince him to come, especially if we're looking promising. Tottenham looks like they're backing Conte. Some of these players, you know, they rise up, and they sort of rise up on the ranks, get better. You know, Bentancur comes in smashing it. Maybe Kulusevski breaks into that starting 11 consistently. Kane really finds the form from last season. Just, you know, all those different scenarios could factor into Pau Torres coming, and he would be an amazing center back to have with Romero in there. Oof.
Yeah. It's a comment here from Sean, says, you think Romero will be solid for us? I think he's going to be unbelievable, fighting fit hopefully very soon, and fingers crossed he doesn't, you know, have a reoccurring injury. But that guy's looks so solid for us. I really do think he's our centre back for many years to come.
100% as well. I don't think that Tottenham. I don't think Levy would spend 50 million on a. Well, actually, no. That's never mind. He did.
Yeah,
He 50 million in there on some players that are being booted out. But you know what? Under the Paratici sort of keeping an eye on the players, I don't think he would drop 50 million on a player that Paratici wasn't confident would bring good to this club.
Yeah, absolutely. Comment from Wayne says, which centre backs are available on pre-contracts, Andre?
I don't think there are, at least as far as I know, the bigger center backs that would
the linked ones,
prime.
yeah.
The linked ones are, none of them are ones that we could get on pre-contracts, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want to come to us anyways. But you never know. When as it gets closer to the summer, right? Paratici might let loose some sneak peeks into other center backs that we might look at, you know?
Yeah, Kane says Kamara's available on a free and Soulé. Do you know what? I did think Soulé, and I was aware he was on a pre-contract, but for me, Soulé's, I don't know, man. Yeah, I feel like we need a left centre back, and Soulé's, does he fit the bill there? Probably not. I mean, he's obviously out the pecking order at Bayern for a reason, and yeah, for me, I think there's better options. I think Sven Botman or maybe even a De Vrij would be quality to partner up with Romero and Dyer. But obviously, we might have to pay some decent money for them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so as well. Well, we'll see, right? Would you want a up and coming center back that can that is being linked to big clubs, or do you want a player that is out of favor at a big club?
Yeah, good point. So do you think Pau Torres sort of suits the bill for Spurs? Do you think it sort of where would he fit over a Ben Davies, or do you think it would be the Dyer right centre back? Where do you see him sort of fitting in that back three?
Well, other than Romero, he 100% can get into that starting 11 for us. Are you kidding? No, like there's no questions. If you signed him, he's starting.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sean says, right wing backs are looking weak. Emerson and Doherty. It's one we really hoping Lamperty comes in, guys. I think that's the one for me. Lamperty. I mean, I've watched him quite a lot for Brighton, and he's just unbelievable. He kind of runs the show. He really shows some positivity down that right wing for them. Almost plays as a right winger half the game, and then tracks back. He's so quick, low center of gravity, very hard to tackle. I remember that run against Chelsea he made a couple of weeks ago. He's just took on like 4 or 5 players, ran around Jorginho like he wasn't there. It was just, the guy really is promising. And if you compare him to sort of an Adama Traore, he really does fit a natural right wing back. Whereas Adama Traore is obviously a questionable one, right wing back. We don't just need a left centre back. We need an upgrade to Sanchez Datu. I've been saying this for a while, Kane. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Sanchez especially. Dyer's obviously proven himself a bit more solid, but I still feel like Dyer's obviously he's not with us for the long run. He shouldn't be. I mean, like you think even a year ago we were saying we want to get rid of this guy, and same with Ben Davies. Just because they've done a good job under Conte doesn't necessarily mean they're brilliant players. And he also says Botman, Soule, and Romero is a league-winning back line. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be juicy. Along with Lamptey right wing back and Reguilon left wing back. Make it happen, Paratici. Start brewing that for the summer, please, mate. But we could probably be happy just with getting one of the Botman, either Botman or Soule. I'd certainly want Botman over Soule. And Botman, by the way, obviously has said recently, hasn't he, that he wants to. Well, potentially this summer is where he's going to make a move. Newcastle apparently went in for him this window, and was it Leon or another team went in for him, and he's obviously thinking about a move. Lille's gone downhill. I mean, they won the league last year, and I don't think they're doing nowhere near as well this year, are they, Andre? So
no, they're underperforming a little bit. They're still up there, but not the heights that they hit that one season.
Absolutely. Derek's in here again. It's big yourself up, mate. He says, big up you guys, big yourself up, mate. And talking about Lille, move on to our next transfer target. And I know you're a massive, massive Patriot fan of this guy, Andre from Canada. Who is our next transfer target we're going to talk about, guys?
Well, now that Vlahovic has gone to Juventus, that leaves only one striker at the moment that I've seen that we've been sort of keeping an eye on, which is Jonathan David. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen some of his games, but they did win the league last season. So, that's a big deal because you got PSG in there who wins everything all the time.
Yeah.
So for 100%, I felt bad for PSG that they didn't win the thing that they win every year.
You felt bad for them? I didn't feel bad for them.
Just a little, for the new guys that came in.
Obviously, I feel bad for Pochettino, but at the end of the day, it's always nice seeing an underdog win. Like, look at the Leicester story. Obviously, we didn't want them to win. We were probably the only team other than Arsenal that didn't want them to win that year because all the other teams are out of the race. But, everyone loved that Leicester story other than us. And, I loved Lille winning the league last year. It was brilliant. Burak Yilmaz doing absolute wonderful things over there. Jonathan David was unbelievable for them, and I think that's part of it. I think really that is part of football, the underdog winning and causing a stir. But obviously Pochettino's at PSG. It's nice to see him do well as well. I just want Pochettino to win the Champions League, to be honest with you. I can't stand Chelsea winning it again. Please no. I wouldn't be able to stand Liverpool winning it again because it's just relentless, isn't it, with Liverpool fans? And Man City is quite funny them not winning it all the time. So that ticks all the boxes for me to want Pochettino to do wonders with PSG.
Yeah. Well, best of luck to Pochettino for sure. That's definitely mainly why I felt bad because he came in and lost the one. You can say bottled the one thing that they always win. But you know what? They're doing very well this year. But anyways, moving on from that though, Jonathan David, yeah, that would be a great signing. I think it would really sort of someone to come in and really fight for that spot under Kane, 100%. Especially the fact that Conte, the way he utilizes his strikers, right? He wants two up top, and the way I see it, he also wants a bench where he can rotate people, right?
Yep.
The fact that right now we got rid of a bunch of midfielders that would just sit on the bench, and instead opted for one extra midfielder who would fit exactly what he wants, so that he can rotate between Bentancur, Winks, Højbjerg, and Skip. Mm-hmm. He prefers 4 players that fit his system than to have a bunch of players who don't on the bench. And I think having Jonathan David in there would be great. So he could rotate between Son, Kane, and Jonathan David. So it wouldn't be that Jonathan David wouldn't get any time either. And it would put a lot of pressure on Kane anyways, because Jonathan David is a really good player.
Yeah, and especially if Harry Kane, obviously the link's going to be there in the summer again. Like it's going to be there. It's not going to go away. Man City are probably going to come knocking for that striker again. And yeah, I don't think the Kane saga's over for the summer for sure. And potentially we need to start looking at those world class players coming through. I mean, Jonathan David, how old is he?
Pretty sure he's about 21.
Yeah, I thought 21. So he's 21 years old. He's one for the future. He's an absolute baller. It's almost like our next like Vlahovic link they're gonna happen. We're calling it early, guys. You remember what we're saying? Jonathan David is gonna be linked with Tottenham this summer. I really do think he is. And yeah, let's see, because I'm a massive fan of this guy. I mean, he scored an unbelievable goal. He sort of flicked it over. Did he flick it over the keeper like with some unbelievable control for Canada? So yeah,
in the recent game, he he controlled it with his chest, put it up, and then hit it with his head to bring it forward and chipped it over the goalkeeper. It was pretty gross, pretty disgusting, but it made me happy. And it just made me really excited to see him do things like that for Tottenham. But we'll see, because I know that there's a lot of big clubs that also want him. And of course, the one club that always tries to come in for the players that we're linked to, Arsenal, also really want him.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm reading a comment. At the end of the day, Jonathan David isn't going to want to play in the Europa League Conference League. So, you know, maybe the Europa League football or the Champions League football will tempt him in more. Let's have fingers crossed on that one. C Dancer's in here. He says Ivan Toney might be another good option. Yeah, I mean, the guy obviously with that video earlier last week, you know, I don't know if you saw that one, Andre. It was an interesting one.
No, I didn't see the video. That's the Brentford player, right? The striker.
Yeah, Ivan Toney. So he's someone was filming him. He was like on holiday somewhere, and someone had filmed him saying "F Brentford." Yeah, it was an interesting one. He had to come up with a statement about it, saying it was out of context. It was in the wrong. Not said with any malicious intent, but obviously had to apologise. It was an interesting one. Jonathan David's one I'm really excited with. What do you put your valuation on him on?
Well, let's see. Last summer, he was probably valued in the 30s, and now he's probably valued in the 50s, to be honest. And the way that he's going, it might go higher. Who knows?
Yeah, especially a young talent, and obviously the attention will be him if Canada really qualify for the World Cup. That will be an interesting one as well, because obviously all the media will be on his back then, and he could be he's probably one of Canada's best players, if not their best player, other than maybe Alphonso Davies. So I think there's going to be a lot of media attention on him in the coming sort of 12 months, really.
Yeah, those games that are coming up, I say if Tottenham can maybe get a pre-contract on him, because the minute that Canada qualifies for the World Cup, his valuation is going to go up.
Yeah, exactly that. Boss Fan TV, how can F Brentford ever be out of context? He said what he said. Exactly. I don't really know. But he tried to like wriggle his way out of that one. It was an interesting one. Ben Davies in here. Sorry, lads, I don't want that maple syrup merchant. Wow. Strong words.
Maple syrup merchant.
Right. Should we move out on to potential transfers out this window, Andre? Do you want to kick things off?
Yeah, sure. So let's see. We got the Roden one, right? Might go to Brighton. We'll have Doherty that's probably going to be on his way out, especially if we bring in Lamptey. Emerson, I'm not sure yet. It would depend, because it would be very risky to just have one right wing back, you know? Even if Emerson hasn't been playing that well, he hasn't been adapting to the right wing back role that well. He's been decent. He hasn't been bad. He just hasn't been at the level that we all want in a right wing back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, sorry, right. He is at a pre-contract. Right, sorry. Yeah, his contract's not done yet at all. It's just the fact that I'm pretty sure he says he's open to a move soon. So
yeah, I think it's more the fact that the clubs are going to come in for him in the summer. It's not a case of the pre-contract. It's a case of, you know, these clubs are really going to be interested in this guy. You know, 21 years old, an absolute hot prospect. You know, Vlahovic obviously has been signed and sealed now, so that's not available. But I think that Jonathan David is going to be the real big link in the next sort of window, and I think we're going to see a lot of clubs linked with him. Like you said, Arsenal already interested, and I would even say Liverpool have been interested as well. But obviously, I think the proof will be in the pudding in the summer. Who really does make those bids for him? Will Spurs stoop up over 50 million for him? Let's see. Let's see.
Plus, also, fun fact, pretty sure the last time or either the last trophy or the trophy before the last trophy was won with a Canadian in the team. Paul Stalteri, I think's his name.
Oh wow, yeah. Full Stalteri, remember he scored that late winner against West Ham. It's like a 4-3 in like literally like 2007. Ah, it's funny moments. But Sean brings us perfectly onto our next topic on the transfers out, which is, well, I know you started off by saying about Rodon potentially. Conte's not a huge fan of him, hasn't given him much game time. Another transfer out could be Bergwijn. Obviously, we know Ajax put in a £19 million euro bid for him in that window just gone, and apparently Spurs wanted 25 million. They didn't want to stoop it up, but maybe they'll go back in the summer. Maybe they'll keep their bid again, and Spurs will rejudge based on how he plays, or also maybe they'll stoop up that bid in the summer. So I think Bergwijn could be on his way out in the summer. What do you think, Andre?
You're bang on that one. 100%. It all depends on how he plays in these last few months. I know that Conte and the club in general were open to possibly selling him, and when he scored that late winner in the Leicester game, it sort of changed the course of what was going to happen to him in this window.
Yeah, exactly. And if he maybe didn't score those 2 goals, maybe we'd be saying, our goodbyes to Bergwijn already. Maybe he'd already be in that red and white shirt at Ajax. So it's a very, very good point. I think potentially he needs another couple of good moments to maybe stay in a Tottenham shirt. Don't forget Kulusevski's come in at right wing now. That's going to be a big competition for him. He's already got big competition with Lucas. Obviously, you got Son and Kane as other forwards. So Bergwijn's obviously going to really struggle for game time now, unless he really impresses. And I think he won't want to just sit on that bench anymore. I think he could be on his way out to Ajax. I really do.
Yeah, it's no mistake that why they brought in Kulusevski. It's to put in some pressure on Bergwijn, right? Just to see what his response
and
is.
Lucas as well, because
yeah, but the thing is, Lucas can also play that cam position sometimes, right? So
right.
he's versatile in that way. I think it's more for Bergwijn. It's his good games. His good games have been too far between, and I think the bringing in Kulu is basically saying, okay, we're not selling you because you not only did Ajax not stoop up what we wanted, but you've shown that there's something there. So show us that that you're not going to fall down the pecking order, and that wasn't a fluke. And then we'll see in the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Miles is in here. Big yourself up, Miles. Really appreciate your support, mate. And he says, what about Alexander Isak? Yeah, obviously, as well as Jonathan David, he's the other sort of young striker, young prospect that could be, not necessarily available, but clubs will be going for these players in the summer. I can see him probably moving. I know Arsenal fans thought he was in London with that taxi going round. Unbelievable. Like not as if there's another Isak in London. It's just unbelievable. Like a Rolls Royce with an Isak number plate. I don't know what's wrong with them. But yeah, I mean, what do you make of Isak? I know probably if I asked you, do you prefer out of David and Isak, you're going to say David. But I think Alexander Isak's a massive baller, taller, really, really good on the ball, really good dribbling, and obviously good goal scoring stats for Real Sociedad. So what's your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I've heard many good things about him. I will be honest, I don't know too much, but I do have a friend who he also has told me, he's like, if we don't get Jonathan David, honestly, Isak would be just as great, honestly, because he rates him highly, and I trust his judgment on this stuff. He's been a Spurs fan since like 2014, so he's been at it for a while. So 100% Isak, yeah. If the player can make the club better than what it is before they're there, I'm all for it.
Yeah. I can tell you, I've been a Spurs fan for a lot longer than that, Andre. But I know that Isak and David would both be incredible options for Spurs in the summer if we manage to even get near them. Marcelino from Facebook says, "Hey guys, I don't know if you agree, but I think Lamberty could be just what Conte wants and needs at a right wing back." Absolutely, Marcelino. If you missed the start of this live, just rewind a little bit. We did talk about Lamberty and the sort of long and short of what we said. Lamberty is probably got a £50 million price tag. Man City and Liverpool, not Man City and Liverpool, Man City and is it Man United are probably
Yeah,
linked with him.
United, yeah.
There's going to be a lot of clubs interested in Lamberty. A low centre of gravity, very quick, very agile, great dribbling, and can track back. Almost what Conte dreams of at that far at the back and right wing back. So yeah, I think a lot of clubs will be linked, and I would personally love Tarek Lamberty at Spurs.
Yep, and we'll see. I think that would be that it would make sense that would be the next big thing to go for in the summer, because we do need to realize we have to take it one window at a time. We can't just take out the entire team and bring a whole other new team in. So I think what we did this season, it really was just deadwood clearance, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
One or two players that Paratici and Conte were, they wanted, but it was a deadwood clearance window. And I think that the next window is about bringing in players in those positions that we were sort of wondering why they weren't filled. And, if it means we still get top four, it takes a bit of a grind to get there, but we get it. And then we actually land the players we want, then that's fine if we're waiting for the right player. Why go for a Traore in the winter when you can go for a Lamptey in the summer?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what Irish Hotspur was saying the other day. Sort of kind of a patience is a virtue. Sort of if you're going to try and rush a signing and sort of sign a right wing back that's not a right wing back, then you've got all sorts of problems. I completely agree with you. On your bike, Scott says, "Great show, lads. Really appreciate you, mate." And I think you're a new face, but if you're enjoying the show, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out, mate, and we'd really love to hear your opinions on these topics. Sean says, "If Man City put a bid in and we do too, then we know where he's going." Exactly that. But at the end of the day, Man City have so many options at wing back. Cancelo, Walker. I know Zinchenko's fallen out of favour left wing back, but yeah, I think you're right. Obviously, the attraction would be Man City over Tottenham, but let's see, man. Like they might not even go in for him. They might not even go in for him at all. Jelly and Ice Cream's in here. Big yourself, mate. Such great support recently from you. I really do appreciate it, especially you regular faces that are joining us every single stream. We really appreciate it, and it does go a long way to helping this channel out. But I hope you're doing well, man, and I hope you're quite happy with that window in the end. Any more potential transfers out this window, Andre?
I guess the last one we haven't really touched on too much is Tanganga. He was also being rumored to be loaned out, and that didn't happen either. I think, was it AC Milan that were looking at him? I think that's what I heard. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys in the chat.
AC Milan. Yeah, he was linked with them. Yeah.
But yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if the roller coaster that is his performances recently continues, that he gets loaned out just to sort of get a new scenery and see what happens with him, especially if we're bringing people like Pau Torres, maybe Butman. There might not be space for him, and he probably won't play either.
Yeah, and he's just not been good enough. That's the main one. Like, he's just really not been good enough. Forgetting the basics of defending, marking from corners and, tracking your man, it is quite concerning. But then you look at him against Man City, right wing back, played unbelievably man of the match in a 1-0 win and pocketed Raheem Sterling that game. So, or was it Riyad Mahrez? I can't remember. But, it was the 1-0 win under Nuno. He played absolutely fantastically. And the other game where he played fantastically at right wing back was Middlesbrough, so in the FA Cup a couple of seasons ago, and bombing down that line, putting great crosses in that were teasing crosses that probably some attackers more should have attacked more. Decent player, but just not playing well at the moment.
Yeah.
If we get Champions League football for next season, this summer could be a historic transfer window for us. Exactly this, mate. Like we have to get Champions League football to attract these talents. And Jonathan David will probably be more interested in Tottenham with Champions League football, that's for sure. Jelly and Ice Cream, he'll playing decent for Valencia tonight. Got it on in the background. Brilliant. Yeah, keep us up to date, mate. I'm sure he's having an absolute blast over there.
Definitely something to keep track of. See how he's doing, because he's just a straight loan. He'll be back. 100% he'll be back.
Yeah, he
So
said he will be back in the comments on Twitter when it was announced that he was leaving Spurs. So yeah, very, very, very interesting one. Andre, any more transfers out?
I
What
think that's
about what about Galini? That's one we haven't talked about.
Golini.
Galini.
Yes, you're right. That's a loan that we have to exercise that buy option.
Do you
If
think it's going to be exercised?
I mean, I don't think so. Conte loves Lloris. He loves Lloris, and I think in the sort of times that he's given Golini his chances, he hasn't really done very well.
Mm.
So I don't think so, and I feel bad because I was really excited when he came in. There was so much hype that he was going to be the next sort of a replacement in a few years when Lloris would finally bid his goodbye. But I don't know.
Two-year
So much
contract,
time.
2.5-year contract for Lloris. You know, the guy's still going strong. You know,
Yeah,
big him up.
And Lloris did say in one of his videos that where he signed the contract, right? He did say, he's ready that in 2 years someone else is going to have to come in, right?
Mm.
He knows that it's almost his time and he wants to enjoy his football. He wants to enjoy this Conte era, but he knows that as his contract is ending, he needs to make way for the next Spurs #1 goalkeeper. And as far as I'm seeing, and I'm sure a lot of you in the comments can probably say the same thing, I
Yeah.
don't think Golini's it. I don't think it's it.
Galoni, yeah, I was going to say Galini is not the future Spurs #1, that's for sure. From what we've seen, obviously, just been disappointing. That's how I'd describe it. Disappointing. A couple of games, where he's just been really, really poor. Really poor, like claiming the ball from a corner, trying to punch it. I mean, Lloris punches the ball quite a lot, but he gets rid of it. Galini's just putting it into positions where he really shouldn't be, and he's had a couple of howlers. So unless he gets a run in, maybe a cup. Obviously, we're still in the FA Cup. Maybe he'll play against Brighton on Sunday. Let's see. Sorry, on Saturday at 8 p.m. Let's see. Which reminds me, as we've kind of summarised the transfer out. Oh, maybe Doherty actually. Doherty, what are your thoughts on maybe him going?
Well, I definitely think if we're gonna get rid of a right wing back to make space for maybe Lamptey, if we get him, he would be the one to go.
Yeah.
He was already being sort of considered as a player to be swapped in the Traore deal, but Wolves didn't want him back, which says a lot. It says a lot.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. Right, as we are coming to the end of the video, let's hear your score predictions, guys, for the Brighton game on Sunday. Now, we'll definitely be live before that, but as to summarise it and sort of get back on track with the Tottenham games, what are your opinions on the Brighton game? Get them in the chat, give us your score predictions, and we'll read them out. But Andre, I'm going to put you in the hot seat first. What are your predictions? Tottenham Brighton in the FA Cup 4th round at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 8 p.m. on Saturday. What are you saying?
Well, I would be very disappointed if we did not win. We should be winning this game. We should be winning this game. So I'm going to say we're going to win. And I'm also going to be really excited to see how, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Lamptey now. That's going to be a player that I'm going to
keep an eye on Lamptey for sure. Lamptey,
even if Brighton loses, I'm going to probably be just paying attention to how Lamptey plays. Almost like the scouting eye is there now for me when I'm watching him play. So
BFTV has just said Brighton are tough, only lost 4 games this season. Yeah, Brighton are no walkover by any means. They're a very solid side, very good coach in Graham Potter. They play a 5 at the back as well, so watch out for that.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be an interesting tactical matchup, and I really think it's going to be closer than people think. Sean's gone for a 2-0. I'm going for a 2-1 scrape. I don't think this is going to be a pretty one, but I do think we will get over the line against Brighton. But you're going what score?
I was gonna say 2-1 as well. I don't see us keeping a clean sheet against these guys because there is a reason why they haven't been losing that many games.
Yeah.
And when I said again, just to be clear here, when I said that it's a game that we should be winning, I don't mean that Brighton will like trample them. I'm just saying that these kinds of games are the games that we should be grinding for a win. Even if they're close, we should be winning them. And yeah, seeing how Lamptey plays will be very exciting. And seeing if he plays Kulu or Bentancur will also be exciting.
I don't think I think Bentancur, there's a problem with his work permit at the moment, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there is. And I think Kulu should be in soon, or has it happened yet?
Yeah, I think he's available to play, but let's see. It's going to be an interesting game. And Bars Fan TV's gone. Spurs win on penalties.
Oh no,
Have
I
they
don't know if
done
another penalty shootout.
no, but the replays scrapped this year, or is it, surely FA Cup replays are still a thing? Or did they get rid of them because of the influence on the amount of fixtures? Oh, FA's decision, there'll be no replays for the rest of the tournament since the fifth round, round of 16 quarterfinals, have been replay free for the last several years. So there will be no replays for the rest of the tournament. So penalties, wow, that could be an interesting one. And Emirates replays in third or fourth round won't occur. That's right. Yeah, there wasn't even replays in the third round. So
You reckon Conte plays Lloris or Golini for this one?
it's a hard question. I think you might play Galini, but he should play Lloris. But let's see. On your bike, Scott's going 2-1 Spurs. And Bars Fan TV just confirms that. Guys, that is all we got time for. Bang on the 1 hour mark. We really do hope you've enjoyed the transfer roundup and a bit of a nostalgia with Dele Ali. Andre, thank you so much for joining me once again, mate.
Of course. Thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Guys, make sure you hit that like button. It really does help us out. Let's get to 25 likes. I can see we're nearly on 20. And subscribe if you're new and want to see more content. We'll be back very soon. Keep an eye on us going live again and look forward to talking to you. That's it from the Spurs Related podcast and YouTube. Take care of yourself. Have a great evening. Come on, you Spurs.